Hello, and welcome back, or welcome to ZorkCast Live. And I have Steve with us today from the lovely United Kingdom, and Marc Meltzer from Las Vegas. I think he's at home right now because he's had a little bit too much casino in the past 24 hours. And me at Wynn Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, I'm super jealous right now because you're in Vegas, you're both in Vegas, and I'm stuck in the UK.
Well, I would say that
feeling
I would
lonely and unloved.
You are always loved, okay? There's only love for you. I asked Alexa that.
You said that with such whatever.
It's like, Alexa, do I love Steve?
We're not going to have a domestic 1 minute into the webcast.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Want to take a tour of some of the
I want some gummy bears. Order me some gummy bears.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay.
Want to take a tour of some of the things I can do.
Alexa, be quiet. I get so amused by this. Anyway, thank you everyone who's joining us today. Let's start off with the little clip, the teaser video about Circa Las Vegas. If you haven't heard, a new casino just opened in Las Vegas. I don't know. Did you hear about that, Meltz?
No.
Tell me what you're talking about. I never heard about it.
You never heard about it. Okay. So we're going to play the commercial teaser in case, I'm assuming most people have seen it, but it's a nice way to start. Guys, we need to mute our microphones when that happens. Okay.
My jealousy levels are just going up right now.
You know what? Jealousy is not a nice quality.
Seeing the trailer is going to make me wish I was there even more.
Oh, I know. But how are your chickens today?
They're great.
But think about it. You have chickens. Mark doesn't have chickens.
Do you really have chickens?
Yes.
I met someone over the weekend that has 10 chickens and 1 rooster in Las Vegas.
Beer, coffee. Beer, coffee.
That one rooster's going to be a busy rooster.
It's a giant rooster, too.
Anyway, our ratings are going down by the second I was talking about.
Yeah, okay. Let's
play the damn clip.
Let's play the video and mute your microphones.
I love this city. It's always reinventing itself. But this is more than reinvention. This is unlike anything that's been done before. I wanted to create a place that didn't just keep up with the times. I wanted to create something new, but classic. It's a new Vegas, a new era, and it's starting right here.
So had you seen that before?
I have seen it because it's on during every baseball game of the playoffs. So, and also I'm a local, and they were airing it pretty much everywhere. But I would expect some new commercials now that they can they don't have to use renderings anymore, so they could use actual footage, probably from last night and moving forward. I'm sure they'll have some pro camera crews out there if they didn't do that already.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I froze then. But I'd seen that. It's a really good trailer. It's really well done, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think it is really quite well done. I noticed Mark Duval was watching, so in his honor, I just put up the Circa felt from the dice table. that's behind us. So, Mark.
Yes.
Last night.
Yes.
Did it wow you?
Well, no, because I was there at 10:30 until 2:30.
I was going to say, were you not there all day? Because you were tweeting.
I was playing tour guide for most of the party. I was like, I can cut all the shit down for you and point you to all the cool stuff that you want to see. So we hit up the sports book. We went to Stadium Swim, both of which the renderings are legit. Like it really does look a lot like the renderings on both parts. So that to me was pretty impressive. Vegas Vicky, of course, was awesome, and I made sure to take everyone over there. But yeah, it was really surprising in that most times you see renderings and the actual product doesn't match what the digital images show. And thankfully, this place did. Like, the renderings were legit, and the property does shine the way the computer images did as well.
So you have one thing here that's amazing is that they open on the schedule they said they were going to open on, and the renderings matched.
Yeah, they actually opened. The casino opened 2 months ahead of time.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Yeah, which is fantastic, and it does really look like you said. Just
I was
great.
thinking that today when you look at sort of the progress they were making over time, and you look back on Twitter, especially, you can see photos from a few months back. How they managed to get that casino open and ready on time is wow. Especially considering we're in a pandemic as well. So this is not even like imagine. Well, I'm amazed.
Steve, did you hear we're in a pandemic? That's like, yeah, it was
That's
amazing.
I can't be there. God damn it.
Yeah, well, you could have been here. You just needed to spend 2 weeks in Mexico on a beach. Okay, we discussed all of that already. That's. But anyway, did you check out the nifty high limit tables room? It was really nice. The high limit area.
The Baccarat tables right over where Marilyn Monroe is.
I know, it's pretty cool. Did you find the secret bathroom?
Yes. Well,
yes.
I didn't have. I saw everything.
Oh, that's right. You were there before.
Like I said, I was there for 2 hours scouring the place. So I can't imagine there's anything that I did not see. There might be things I didn't take pictures of, which, if you look at my Instagram and Twitter, is few and far between. So
commercial break for Mark's Instagram and Twitter. No,
yeah, there you go.
No, you did a great.
Did you take pictures of the secret bathroom?
No, because they were working on it.
That would have been slightly weird too.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Pictures of the bathroom.
Honestly, I don't take pictures of secret bathrooms because I need them to be a secret for me.
Yes, no, I understand. And did you see they had a nice selection of traditional top dollar, 5, 25, 100 denomination, double top dollar, 2 coin. I just happened to notice that.
I believe Scott hit a couple of big ones there.
I'm sorry?
Night. Scott Vital Vegas. I think he hit at least one nice win.
Really? Okay, that must have been a little bit later. I had to leave.
Yeah, he tweeted about that, I think, didn't he? He had a decent win.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. The space is really nice. I think it feels a little Cosmo-ish.
I think
it definitely doesn't feel pretentious.
It looked to me Cosmo-like. Obviously, I haven't been yet, but it definitely looked Cosmo-like. It's the first thing that came into my head in terms of.
It's funny. Vibe. I didn't get that vibe at all.
Really?
Yeah, that's interesting to hear that you both had that thought and I did not.
Well, what thought did you have? Like, what did you? I always relate something to something else. I mean, it definitely didn't feel like the Stardust.
Well, I'm not old like you, so.
Oh.
I don't have my own senior slot machine.
Yeah, I'm all over that. But you know what the problem is? Does it have a nap mode?
Yeah, Michael gets senior discount now.
I didn't really get a vibe for a comp for anything in my head. So you guys are probably closer to being correct than I am because I didn't. My attention was really about the sports book and the pool area. So to me, those are not Cosmo-like. So that's where my mind was. To me, those are really the standout parts of the property. So I didn't really find a Cosmo vibe. Like to me, when I think Cosmopolitan, I think Chandelier Bar. And there was nothing that really felt chandelierish about it. But again, that could just be walking around while they were putting the finishing touches or walking around drinking white wine. So who knows?
This is the good thing, though, actually, isn't it? That it's got its unique selling points. Things like that sports book.
Right.
That's a unique selling point. The stadium swim, that's a unique selling point. I think that's what's really good about it. It's not like anything else downtown or even on the strip in that sense.
What did you think of Mega Bar?
It's a really long bar with 40-something TVs, and the beer drinkers will noticed something because they tout that they have so many taps available, but they're basically the same 20 taps repeated over and over.
I was going to ask that because I'm a big craft beer drinker, and I was thinking, wow, that's going to be really good for comp beers. But
yeah, I was
sort of
it's still better than most downtown casinos.
Yeah.
So let's not get twisted. It's just such a long bar that they had to repeat a lot of the offerings. I was hoping for a few more options, just kind of like you, Steve, where I'm a beer snoot and I want variety. And there's definitely some local beers mixed in with the macro beers that everyone's going to want, like the Coors Lights and the Bud Lights. But you get some locals in there and some micro brews like the ones that the bigger companies have purchased. So there's a good variety there in beer. And, like I said, it's the same ones repeated so that you can get the same beer over at one end of the bar that you can get at the other end of the bar. I don't know if you noticed this, Michael. Did you see Derek and Nicole have their own little placards on their spot?
No, I didn't notice that. That makes sense. I checked out the Asian restaurant and the deli. I thought those were pretty nifty. And also like the tapas menu for the Asian restaurant. Actually, some of the hors d'oeuvres were really nice canapes they were serving from all the different restaurants. Mark just asked, was the music loud at Mega Bar?
Oh my God. The fucking music is so goddamn loud in that place. Holy
and why do I think it didn't sound loud last night? Maybe
really?
I am really, I don't know. I mean, maybe I have this like way of blocking things out.
I have a question about Mega Bar.
Pitbull song 3 times yesterday.
Yeah.
And I like Pitbull, so it's not really a big issue for me. But yeah, to me, it was loud everywhere in that place. There were little spots where you could go where there weren't any speakers, and you just sort of heard light music from the other side, but it was pretty loud depending on where you stood.
What were the pay tables like at the Mega Bar? Did you check it out?
I'm sure Mark checked that out.
I did not because I left before the casino opened, so I would defer to you.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I had just spent so much time looking at every single video poker machine and pay table at Laughlin that looking for the 9-5 jacks or better, the 2 9-5 jacks or better machines, which I never found in Laughlin. Last night to me was an experience night. I mean, I wanted to be there when they opened dice, so I played dice. Did you see the opening roll with all the casino executives?
That was cool.
Yeah, that was great. I was more into the experiencing stuff than the data point side of it. I noticed one mini Bach table that was 5 to 5,000. I didn't really pay very much attention to the limits. I had decided I wanted to get back and do some work and get ready for today. I did a Better Life podcast, which has already dropped. It was supposed to be with Tim at 4:30 in the morning. I fell asleep for an hour, so we did it at 5:30 in the morning. So I knew it was going to be a bad idea for me to stay much past 1:30 in the morning, but I am going to go back, to check a few of those things out. Actually, while we're on it, I have another video which we just dropped on YouTube today, which gives a little bit of a overview. By the way, I never found Mark. Actually, I did see you, and I screamed your name on the way in. When we arrived at Garage Mahal, you were sitting on a bench there. But you were like really concentrating on your phone, and I said, "Oh, Ellen, look, it's Mark," and I'm like, "Mark!"
I did not hear you. I was actually
probably waiting for his Uber or something.
I was texting my non-date +1 that I was there.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So let me queue up this
Thanks for the text, Mark. Thanks for the text.
Okay, so here's the other video we have, which is pretty cool. Once again, we need to mute our lovely microphone. So that gives a nice little overview.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was a nice video.
What did you think of the presentations, Mark? The VIP presentations?
What do you mean?
Did you watch all the presentations by Derek and all the staff and all that stuff?
Nope.
Oh, well, you are in luck because I'm going to put the whole thing on YouTube for you. Because
Great.
I love you.
Great.
So where were you then? Were you still in the sports book? It's like you can't get Marc Meltzer out of the sports book.
I did spend some time, and we watched the Dodgers win the World Series in the sports book. It was shocking that all the black.
How can you think about baseball when there's all this stuff going on?
He'd been there all day, Michael.
Okay.
Exactly.
I know you're old, but that memory is.
But it was pretty amazing that so many people in their black ties were there, cheering on the winning of the World Series. I didn't really expect that because, much like you, there's so much to see and do that sitting to watch sports and cheer for it was shocking that so many people did that. So I wanted to make sure I actually memorialized a few seconds of the celebration over the Dodgers winning. And people cheered, people had a good time. But when I went up to the to Stadium Swim when it first opened, like when they first started letting people up there for the presentations, and it just got too crowded, and I was like, I can't deal with all these people. I need to get out of here. And thankfully, we found somebody that took us to a back room elevator to get us downstairs, so we didn't have to ride that horrifying 90 seconds back down on the escalator, which is just, as someone that's afraid of escalators and afraid of heights, I did not want to do that again. You must have
loved Revel, aka Ocean.
No,
I think those escalators are so cool because it's like, whoa, all the stuff's moving around.
And what's not cool about that? Anything. I don't like it. I think almost passed out going down earlier in the day, but I wanted to experience it so I could actually have an educated conversation about it.
I never you today. I didn't know that you were so scared of that.
Yeah, I'm horrified. Even I will hold a rail. Even the sports book has a 7-step escalator. I hold the rail on that because I'm horrified of escalators. And by the way, a 7-step escalator is amazing. But yeah, I just did not want that. So anyway, when the pool area got crowded for when everybody else was going up there, I went downstairs to actually get a drink and just chill out for a little bit and enjoy the place without as many people milling about. So I could
stayed on a higher level. You could go in the corner and be near no people. That's what we did.
Well, that's wonderful. I wanted to go get a drink inside.
Okay. You get very grumpy.
Yeah, me? Yeah. You think?
The escalator thing is fascinating. So Robin asks, I noticed a lot of maskless people. How are the safety protocols? I mean, overall, I thought that they were being relatively strict on compliance, but I just think with the number of people there and everything that was happening, but I was reminded to get my mask on right away a couple of times. I
was too.
Basically, if you were having a drink and you left your mask off for a moment, I was reminded once then, you're reminded while smoking. They also reminded my wife when we were at the dice table that she needed to stand behind me, for distancing. So I thought it was good. Here's the thing, and this is the truth of it. If you want to look for it being bad, you will find it. In every single casino, that includes Wynn or everywhere else, you will find people not wearing their masks at certain times and people who are chancers and will take the opportunity of leaving their mask off as much as they can until they're screamed at. That is every casino. That cannot be avoided. If that's something, it's just the way it is. But I thought overall they were doing a very good job. When it comes to distancing, I think that's a really difficult thing to do on an opening night where they're like, hey, the first dice roll in the casino is about to happen and everyone wants to see the table with all the casino executives and the dice roll. There's no practical way you could say everyone needs to be 6 feet away from each other. I mean, it doesn't then it just wouldn't work, So, but I thought compliance was really good. The word that I got from a few people I spoke to is that gaming was, around and they were paying attention to it. For those who don't know, If casinos don't comply with the rules, they can be fined by gaming. So I think they really are aware, and I felt pretty positive about it. But no situation is perfect. Did you feel that way too, Mark?
It's a really strange concept seeing these big events happening over in the US, because over here we're in like these rules where you can't do anything, more than 6 people, let alone have a big casino opening.
Well, have I had my discussion about irrational fears and rational fears? And I feel I'm irrational about certain things and rational about other things. I only have 2 feelings when I'm in Vegas. One feeling is I'm so happy in Vegas. This is fucking awesome. I'm having the best time. The other feeling I have, I'm going to die of COVID. So these are basically the 2 feelings that go like that happened to me while I'm in Vegas, and they both fade in and out. The more alcohol I have is the more I'm having a great time in Vegas. But I mean, and I think some of it is just irrational fear because you forget, but I really felt pretty good. I thought they were great at the dice table with the distancing, but they just do distancing and masks at the dice table. There is no plexiglass or any other kind of barriers, but I felt good about it. I felt
they're checking temperatures too anyway as you go in, because they do.
They did check for VIP. They check temperatures with those stupid handheld things. For everybody else, they have those airport. I call them this. I like what Wynn does, where you don't even know they're checking your temperature. Where you just sort of wander in and do that kind of thing. But it was good. It was good. I mean, I felt good. I mean, how did you feel, Mark? Did you? Because you're usually a pretty like you. You tend to worry a lot.
Yeah, I don't really worry about this in general because I don't put myself in this kind of position very often. So I thought it was weird. I was telling somebody afterwards when I was grabbing a drink at Golden Gate that it's just not the experience I want inside of a casino. I don't mind wearing a mask in general, but I don't like wearing it while I'm gambling and drinking or trying to have conversations with people. So to me, that wasn't really the experience I wanted. However, like you mentioned, they were very diligent about telling people, take a sip, put it back on, take a sip, put it back on. I was very bad at that, admittedly. And I had to be reminded gently when I was over at Golden Gate. I didn't really have the mask on very long at the actual party itself, so I wasn't asked about that, but there were a lot of people walking around without masks on because they were all holding booze. It's sort of the same thing I wrote about when I went to Delano. When people hold drinks and cigarettes, their masks are down generally because they're smoking and drinking. So it's not easy to keep going up and down with your mask. And so people just generally, self-included, get lazy about it and need to be reminded.
Do you think there's an argument to say that they should have delayed the opening? Or do you think they still made the right decision going ahead with it?
I don't know. I don't know what's right and wrong with
That's an interesting one, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know either.
I don't know the right thing to have done. But it was just definitely, as you mentioned, it was sort of strange because I've not seen a gathering that large in a long time, and I was kind of surprised they were able to get away with something like that because it felt like there were thousands of people there, which would be over capacity for some events. I don't know how a casino would work with that capacity limit, though. So,
I thought capacity limits were supposed to be 50%, but the place is so darn large that 50%.
Right, but also the hotel's not open yet. So what are the actual? The thing about the casinos that is sort of an untold secret is you will not find a capacity mentioned anywhere for the actual casino itself. You'll find it for a restaurant or a space like a ballroom, but you won't find it for the entire property. So it's a little dicey on what the actual number should be.
They do it in New Jersey. They have a number.
Who cares?
There was a day when you were called East Coast Gambler.
Yeah, that was a decade ago. Take it easy.
when I was no longer a senior.
But well on the way.
That was before your slot machine days.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I do this a little bit of the slots for Steve.
You're gonna blame me for your slot machine habit that's slowly growing.
There's no habit there. I mean, it tends to bore me after a little while, but I like complain. It's something I like to complain about. So it's sort of like
you're
Mark.
a true senior. You just like to moan and complain, and you'll still go back for more.
Yeah, I know, but I asked them for a vodka and prune juice, and they didn't have it, so I was upset. But I thought the opening was well done. I thought the presentations were really good. What I really liked, and I will be putting up a video of these presentations if you're really interested in going deep into it. Derek thanked a bunch of the staff, the executive team, lots of people up there, and they made it really funny because the guy who was the announcer was the hot dog guy. What's his name, Mark? Do you know? It was funny.
It was definitely funny and something that a lot of people pointed at me that I needed to see. At the same time, I needed to see a man about a vodka drink.
Okay, that's true. So Stuart asks, will Circa be able to draw tourists who would never normally leave the Strip? I would say absolutely yes, especially because of Stadium Swim and the sports book. For sure, people will want to visit this. And I would go so far as to say you're going to have resorts like Wynn that are probably going to be sending some of their players there during March Madness because there is nothing that compares to Stadium Swim. And I think it would – honestly, if somebody went to a concierge at Wynn and said, what's the best place to go, there's no way you couldn't say that would be the best place to go to watch sports. So
it's interesting too, because online people are already saying, and people who frequently have only ever talked about strip properties have already said, oh, I want to go downtown now. So I think 100% it's going to encourage more tourists downtown. Yeah,
absolutely. Here's a question for you, Mark, and then I have some commentary on that. Someone's asking, GL is asking, how does the sports book compare to Westgate?
They're very different, although they're both huge. So Westgate is wider. This one is taller. So your differences are going to be in your different kinds of seats because you could either sit in like a normal chair, you could get a recliner, you could get a leather chair, you could get a shared banquette, you could get an individual banquette. You can also order food from the restaurants to your areas in the sports book. So it's definitely similar in that they're both very large, but their setup is very different. Also, the screens are fantastic, equally fantastic, I think, as far as how it's lit and how crisp and clear they are. I mean, they're both brand new technologies. So the screens are equal. The seating is very different. I sort of like the Circa layout a little better, but it's just a personal tasting, I think, that will speak to different people. But I like they're both good sports books in general as far as lines go. So you're going to get probably the two of the sharpest lines in Vegas at Westgate and Circa. They're very similar. And, I do think, like Michael said, when you get around to it, it's the Stadium Swim is really going to set itself apart for a place to watch sports because that being able to watch outside on a crisp, beautiful television screen is just phenomenal. And I think that's that's possibly for March Madness is going to be a game changer as far as watching because fresh air is outdoor. You can do that in Vegas where you can't do that pretty much anywhere else on the east of the state. So that'll be a good thing. Michael, what do you think?
I absolutely agree. I mean, actually, what's so interesting about it is I was thinking it's amazing no one's done this already, right? I mean, if you think of, I mean, of course, I'm sure this idea is going to be copied now, but it's going to take someone a little while to copy it.
It may or may not because you think about it. And it's a discussion I was having with a few people yesterday. Is that it occupies so much space. And the win from sports bettors is about 5%. of what's actually wagered. So, for example, if I bet $100, in general, over time, the casino will get $5 out of that. So is that financially enough to devote that much space to gambling, to sports betting? I don't know. And that's something we're going to have to see. And I think the bean counters at the other properties are going to watch that very carefully. If it is making a dent in the bottom line in a good way, they'll do it. If it's not positively impacting the property, then they probably won't do it. But, I think the book itself, I don't know if you ventured thinking sportsbook wise, but you could watch the game from the burger place. It's very close to a lot of the restaurants.
I did notice that.
I took a picture. I think I shared this one yesterday, but you could order from Project Barbecue and they'll bring a whole pig to your table.
That's not very kosher.
Not very kosher at all. But it's you could bring in food from the other restaurants. So economically, it could possibly work out in the benefit for Circa. So that's where you can really make up for it. So if you can get burgers and barbecue and other foods that men are going to enjoy brought to your table there, that now you're taking let's say a $500 chair and it's now becoming a $1,000 chair, of which you're making incremental profits from. So, that I think is where we're going to see whether or not this can actually make them money. So,
well, there's another big point, which I guess you sort of alluded to. Obviously for this property, there is a value of bringing people in the door because they're downtown. Right. So they're allocating more space, but that's potentially going to bring people downtown to a property that people would have never gone to. So in comparison, if Cosmo did something like this or Bellagio did something like this, the way they value the space and all of that is a little bit different. Derek spent a lot of time in the presentation talking about we're all in this together. And he actually mentioned, we want to bring people, we want people to extend their trip or come down here, come here for March Madness, but then we want them to go back to Cosmo to do this, or we want them to go to Caesars for this, or, if they enjoy our sports book, we also want them to go to Westgate. So he made a big point of and I want people to go to my neighbors, like Plaza and Golden Nugget. So that was really nice and was extremely humble. And I think it only really works because, I believe they really believe it. Because they really have been, good to players, good to gamblers, gambling focused. And I think that, I think it's not a matter of stealing the other business, but making the pie larger. Is that a good way to say it? It's not like, hey, we're here at Circa, we want to steal this business from other casinos. It's like, no, we want the pie to become larger. Instead of people staying 4 days in Vegas, they'll stay an extra 2 days because after their conference, they'll want to go to Stadium Swim, even though they've been at the Sands Convention Center for the whole week. So I like that. And as far as the opening happening, I think Vegas needed this. I think it's fine. I think it made sense, to happen, considering Las Vegas, and considering the entire situation in Las Vegas. I'm sure there are many that disagree with me. Oh, someone also asked about the pool. Stadium Swim is year-round, and I think the temperature of the water is always 75 degrees Fahrenheit?
Not correct.
Okay.
The top two pools are over 110 degrees in the winter, or can be. The lower pools have a different heating system. So they're not as hot, or they can't get as hot.
Okay.
I believe they can be up to 90 something, from what I was told yesterday.
But it's always year round.
It's open all year round. Correct. The pools are heated for cooler temperatures, though.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Really good stuff. So, anything else that really hits you, Mark? Any other feelings? I mean, obviously part of it is that we're all exhausted and overloaded with Circa. But are you feeling optimistic? Does this make you feel better about Vegas, better about downtown, better about everything? I mean, I think because it really is. I mean, it's a groundbreaking kind of property downtown. There isn't it
Oh, for
totally
sure.
totally changes the entire downtown equation, as far as a resort experience, right? I mean, there's no other thing. And also, actually, what do you think about a couple of questions? A, I think the ventilation system is amazing with the air conditioning coming up through the floor. I think that's really cool. The other thing is, what do you think about the 21 plus? And what do you think about the fact that Cromwell copied the 21 plus rather rapidly for their opening?
It affects about zero. I was telling somebody else this yesterday. It affects about 0.00001% of the clientele for both of these properties. Cromwell is basically a nightclub with a 200-room hotel for Dre's day club and nightclub. For Circa, I don't think it's that much of a big deal either. The kids are not coming into you. Kids can't gamble anyway, so you're essentially having the old win rule of no strollers allowed on the property. So we don't want your kids here. So I don't really think it's all that big of a deal. It's more of a marketing thing as far as anything that I can really glean from it. I don't think it really impacts all that much. But it's cool. It's cool that I'm not going to have to be bothered by kids when I go there. As opposed to the Golden Gate or the D. There's no kids at either of those properties. This one being so large, the pool might have been overrun with kids. So that's probably where it'll have an impact. But ultimately, I can't fathom that it's really going to make that much of a difference.
Okay, that's fair. So Robin was asking, will surrounding properties be raising their hotel prices to stay cheap and Circa? I don't think there's going to be much change in any hotel pricing anytime soon until conventions come back.
I can tell you from the Boyd earnings call earlier this week, and it's something I was going to write about for TravelZork on. Oh shit! I just remembered that I have an MGM call later. Something I'm going to write about it this weekend. Just rounding up the earnings calls. The CEO of Boyd Gaming said that they are looking. Foot traffic is great, and Circa is going to bring a lot of foot traffic, but it's a premium property like the Golden Nugget for downtown. It's just more expensive, so they're not looking at the same customers. And he also mentioned something very intriguing, that their Hawaiian customer base is better than or more impactful than anything that does foot traffic that brings traffic to downtown Vegas. I thought that was very interesting as far as profitability with customers. So will they go ahead and raise prices? I highly doubt that. I think they're going to be very happy. And it looks like Main Street Station will be reopening sometime next year once the Hawaiian junkets reopen. I believe that'll happen just before New Year's Eve. So the junkets will be, I believe, start just before New Year's Eve. I think Main Street Station will follow, opening sometime in the first half of next year. At least that's the inkling that I got from the Boyd call. So, they're just different properties. Different properties have different price points. And I'll give you a good example from this morning. Mm-hmm. A large cold brew, iced coffee, at Plaza was $5.50. A large cold brew at Circa is $8. Now, not really a big deal if you're looking at the properties, but when you're pricing things out, $5.50 versus $8 is sort of hefty when you look at it based on a cup of coffee. And I think the room rates will be similar. I paid $60 to actually $30 plus $30 resort fee to stay at Plaza last night. I think room rates at Circa are going to be hovering around at the minimum $100 per night. So plus resort fee.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. One of the things I'm always curious about is whether they'll be a little bit more reasonable about some of the pricing of the food and beverage and amenities at Circa. Because as an example, this morning, I said to my wife, do you want me to order room service for coffee or do you mind going down and getting coffee? And she said, no, I'll go down and get coffee at the Wynn coffee thing here. You probably know the name of it. And I think a cappuccino, a latte, an iced black coffee, one little breakfast sandwich thing for me and a croissant was $45. So I think that's a little much for going down yourself and picking up something. I mean, that would be what I think that would be the equivalent of like $22 at Starbucks. So it's a times two factor. So I think that, I would like to see some of that stuff be a little bit more reasonable. Like one of the things that always gets me about luxury resorts are all the extra fees for things. And I'm thinking that Circa is going to be more reasonable about some of that stuff, have more of a middle ground. I guess we'll see. Someone was asking, Mark, any opinions about the poker room at Circa? I have no idea about
there is no poker room
or where it is, or if there is one. I was about to say.
Yeah.
Is there going to be one?
No.
And what's the reasoning there?
Doesn't make any money. They didn't give a reason.
Doesn't make money poker, does it?
Poker, they only make a rake on each hand. So I think unless you're a larger poker room, you're not going to make a lot of money, which is bottom line. And if you're accounting for space, the newer properties aren't opening with poker rooms. Resorts World will have a poker room. I could swear I wrote this a few weeks ago.
I'm sure you did, but I don't.
But Circa is not opening with a poker room. Virgin is not opening with a poker room, but they have poker tables in case there's demand for it. And Resorts World, I'm told, will open with a poker room. So as far as your new properties in the next 6 months, that's the rundown of poker in Las Vegas.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, especially during COVID times, because casino bank games are so much more profitable. I mean, it's crazy. Yes, Steve, I'm sorry.
Did you see the image of the Circa logo on the Resorts World building? Someone posted a picture of it on Twitter. I think Resorts World posted a picture of it on Twitter. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I did see that. And on Instagram, Circa re-shared it in their stories as well. So yeah, they're definitely a lot of the places are just welcoming them with open arms. Like you said, Michael, Derek is very cordial to his neighboring businesses, and he does it the right way. He is respectful of them. They're respectful of him. It's all reciprocating. I believe South Point took out a full-page ad in one of the papers. You saw the billboard over at the plaza welcoming Circa. So there's a lot of camaraderie, and I think it's great that he's built this kind of network of friends. And regarding the pay tables, none of us checked them on last night, but I can also say that nobody has gone to BP free to post them up yet. So,
hey, Mark, and like I said, if you want to know about anything about pay tables this week, I can tell you everything about Harris Laughlin. that's about where my head.
They're going to be similar to the D, aren't they?
Laughlin, yeah, I imagine they'll be similar. Although there is at least 165 blackjack table at Circa, which you don't have at the other properties. So that sort of surprised a lot of people. They also have a dealer must stay on 17 in the high limit tables room, which I don't think you'll find anywhere else downtown. But of course, that's high limits, and high limits at Circa is $100, whereas across the street it's $25 or $50.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Interesting stuff. I think more of these data points will come in. I think it's a little hard, the whole opening experience, gathering all that kind of stuff. I mean, you sort of have to pick and choose what you want to spend time on. And my focus was mostly, pictures and food and beverage and ambiance and stuff like that. I will head back there at least one more time to check things out. I also want to play some Baccarat there. So that's,
Gotta keep your host happy.
Yeah, well, I'd like to play. I mean, it makes me happy. I just have to be in the right mind space to play, and last night I wasn't in the mind space to spend, 5 hours playing Baccarat. So it's hard to play Baccarat for less than 5 hours. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
Sounds miserable.
Really? So where would you rank as more miserable? Single line video poker or Baccarat?
Baccarat.
Yeah.
You can give me everything in the world, and I'll say Baccarat.
Really?
It's just boring. You know, there's not even like you can make fun of slot machines all you want, but the bells and whistles and the bright lights and the loud sounds from the penny slot machines, I'm here for it. You know, to me, that's more interesting than sitting there and playing a game that involves absolutely zero skill.
Absolutely.
That has no glitz and flashing and noises and anything. Like
there is noises. Monkey.
That's true.
Michael's going to have a tantrum.
I know.
I haven't heard a monkey out here, actually, now that you mention it. I used to hear monkey often when I was in New Jersey back in the day, but no monkeys out here now.
No, there are not a lot of monkeys out here. That's true. Did anyone get a deli sandwich? No, I tried the chicken salad, though. I did not get a deli sandwich. Have you tried the deli sandwiches? Do you know if they have matzo ball soup? Did you verify any of this?
They do have matzo ball soup. I did not try a sandwich because they were not open when I was touring. I'm told the Reuben is fantastic. The owner, Mr. Saginaw, was pitching his brisket as something that is fantastic as well. But I'm an East Coast guy, so give me pastrami on rye with some golden mustard, not this yellow stuff that he's trying to sling me. You know, I need my spicy brown mustard on anything. So, but I look forward to checking out. Actually, you mentioned the one restaurant that I'm looking forward to more so than even Jack Potts.
I know what it is.
8 East is it. I love Latai. I think that's a great restaurant, and I look forward to seeing the next version of Latai, which is a more broad variety of Asian food. So it's not just Thai food; it's Vietnamese and Cambodia and other different Asian ethnicities in the food. Of course, the fried rice is what's going to bring me there, though, for the first time. That delicious brisket fried rice. Hook it up, put it in my veins, give it to me all day, all night.
Good. Well, they sampled some of their dumplings, which were really nice. And by the way, coincidentally, Mark just said that Cambodian dealer friend yelled monkey a lot while playing
That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering. I thought this was this. I was like, wow, Cambodia mentioned twice in one conversation. No, it looks like
a corner of my eye when I was talking about different Asian ethnicities.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. I'm looking forward to that too. I think all the dining venues looked really nice. The Steakhouse also looked really sort of cool, a little speakeasy-ish. I mean, a little dark, but it was quite nice.
It's really nice, and I don't know if you explored the Steakhouse, but there's different dining areas with different decor. There's like a part where there's a tree inside the Steakhouse. There's a part where there's bull's heads guarding a meat locker. Like a semi-private room. And there's just little different sections where they wanted to, one of the I guess owners or a chef or somebody that was giving a spiel about the place said they wanted to make it different so that as you come back, you have a different experience every time you visit, which I thought was pretty cool. Like when you first walk in, there is that speakeasy vibe. But as you move throughout the restaurant, there's different little sections that you can cordon off and make your own, or they could do whatever. It can be open to the public. It was a really cool space, but ultimately a steakhouse to me matters about the steak. I don't care what it looks like. Give me a great steak, and then you'll have me as a customer for life.
Yeah, no, it looks amazing. Also, I got a glance at their glassware. Really nice glassware.
That somebody else noticed that too. I did not. I was more entranced by the bullhead hanging over by the meat locker.
No, really, really great. So let's just do some final thoughts because we've been going for a little while now, and I need a nap. It's nap time. Old. Hey, young, young whippersnappers.
So final thoughts.
Garage Mahal is great for ride hailing. It worked really, really well. At least I thought it did. I mean, we had no problem with our Uber, but I'm impressed. My final thoughts are, wow, I'm impressed. You know, I love it. I think it's great for downtown. I think it's great for Las Vegas. I can't wait to go back. How about you, Mark?
This is just going to be great for. Oh, sorry, I butted in.
Oh no, you go now. How about you, Steve? What do you think?
I just think it's going to be great for the downtown area. I think it's going to bring in so many new customers. I think everyone's going to benefit from it, not just Circa. Which is why I think it's great. And long may it continue. And I can't wait to get down there. We just need to get the US open.
Yeah, what's the over under? Are you placing any bets, Mark, on when British citizens will finally be able to travel to the United States?
The only time I think about British citizens is when I get a tweet about British citizens from Vegas, UK.
I think
this is what I'm drinking today. Mango
weed around Christmas.
Very nice.
New York around Christmas. I think. In terms of getting into the US.
I will say this, Michael, if you're looking for a different kind of Blue Moon, they have a cold brew version of it that is fantastic.
Okay.
I don't know if they sell it or they have it available everywhere, but they do have it at the Blue Moon Bar at Planet Hollywood, if that's open again. It was delicious for a Blue Moon. You know, it Blue Moon is what it is. If you're a fan of it, you will possibly like it. If you're not a fan of Blue Moon, you probably won't like it.
Interesting. Well, cool. So, Mark, final thoughts.
It's rare that something lives up to the renderings, and it did. It exceeded the renderings. You know, like we talked about earlier, the sports book is as good, if not better, than the renderings pictured it. The stadium swim as good as, if not better, than the renderings were. I don't get too excited about garages, but that was cool. You will have to pay to park, by the way. It's $4 an hour, $15 for valet. So that's something to be aware of. I think it's great. I think I took someone that's not generally, or I was with someone that's not generally a casino buff, and they love stadium swim. So I think that will draw people, kind of like what you were saying, from the strip, whether it's to hang out at the pool for an event, whether it's just to be outside. It really is a game changer for that area. And I think, you know, there's a lot of potential there, and I hope it succeeds because it has a lot of what I like, from the restaurants to the bars to the sports book to even the pool area. I'm not a big pool guy, but I like that there's a little gaming space out in the corner. You can stick me the blackjack table over there, and I'll be very happy to gamble outside. As long as I don't.
Well, it's going to succeed for sure, and it's amazing. And my prediction is that British citizens will be able to travel to Las Vegas by January. So
fingers crossed. I think New York at Christmas is what they're hoping for.
I think January. That's what I think. So you get ready, Steve. Okay.
You know what? With you.
January 15th, Virgin opening. Next opening. January 15th.
Yeah, me and you will go together. I'll be your date.
Maybe. I'll see. I'm not sure.
You don't need Ellen.
We'll see. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Mark, thank you so much for suggesting that we do this, because I think we figured that out. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. I miss the UK a little bit.
Don't lie. Bloody Palms. Oh my God, I just said bloody Palm Springs. That's really stereotypical.
Bloody. Yeah.
Bloody Palm Springs.
You know what? Jealousy is not a good quality. It's all about
friendly.
You sound like you're ready for a nap. We should cut this off now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining.
I got to go and see my good friend Bernard.
Oh, yeah, right. So anyway, have a great day, everyone, and thank you for joining us. And until next time, which will be next year for ZorkCast Live. Bye.